Find out the top 10 counters in Kumite from beginner's level to advanced level in this video. So the first counter was a chudan zuki, which means a punch to the stomach. So someone does, let's say, a kizami zuki, a punch with the leading hand to your face. You duck under and aim right on his belt. So make sure it's not too high or too low. Aim right here. And 3 important points. First, duck down as low as possible. So don't just go in like this because then you're going to get hit. So make sure you drop down to evade his attack. That's number 1. Number 2, make sure you evade his punch with the other hand. So don't just go in like this. Get this out of the way and punch. Number 3 is where your knees are facing. So if your knees are facing this way, the power goes this way. But then you want all the momentum to go through his body. So direct this to him and punch. This is always the same with front stance, zenkusudachi, when you practice your kata. So make sure both your toes and your knees are facing forward when you punch. I know it's scary that their fist is coming at you, so you tend to go to the side, but make sure you drop down to avoid his punch and get this using your left hand out of the way. And so that was the first counter. So the second counter is evading the hand with the lead hand and countering with the back hand. So 3 points again. First, let's evade the punch with the lead hand by blocking like this. I know this is another way to do it, but if you're just starting out, have your hand in between your chin and their fist like this. That's the most simple way. So someone punches you, so being able to do this is the first step. And then step 2 is, after getting this out of the way, make sure you twist your hip like this a lot to punch. If your hips are still facing the side and you're trying to punch, it's not going to reach. But if you twist this, you can reach. So make sure that happens. And the last point is the rhythm. So make sure the rhythm is dan dan, bam bam, bam bam, bam bam. So if this becomes too slow, like then he can attack too. So make sure you keep the rhythm. Pa pa. The earlier, the better. The third counter for beginners is this: evading with the back hand and punching with the front hand. So 3 points again. First, since you're blocking with the back hand, make sure you extend your arm all the way to the front and make this space between the fist and yourself. If you block it here, then there's not enough space. So make sure when he comes, his body is going to shift forward as well. So make sure you block the opponent and make this distance, enough distance. And then second is how you pull back your punch. So after this, you punch. And if you just stay here, the pullback isn't enough. So make sure you pull back all the way to the side. So after you finish the punch, your hips are facing this way, face it the other way, and pull back. So that was the second point. Third, make sure your arm follows one line and that it doesn't go up or down. Maybe in some competition you see people doing this, but I think that's because they're able to make an impact with this form, which is pretty difficult. So if it's your first time trying, or if you're just starting out with this practice, make sure you follow one line. So I think you can see how that was a single line. I guess 2 points here. You have to let the opponent attack your chudan, which is pretty rare in this situation. If you think about when the opponent wants to hit your stomach is as a counter. So maybe you go in without blocking this part. So maybe you go in like this and then make the opponent punch. And then since your hand is up, you just evade this and then counter. So the first part is stepping in just a little bit. Don't go fully in because then he can touch you. So go maybe halfway and then make the opponent attack and sway. Second point is how you pull back. So from here, just like with the jodan that we just did, make sure you twist your hip, and then you pull back. So 2 points. First, step in halfway, evade, turn your hip, and punch. So if I do it with rhythm, like this. So the first counter for intermediate level is counter with the chudan. So from here, this is the first one. So 3 points here. First, evade the punch with the front hand. So make sure you swipe this out of the way. Second, step sideways. So from here, make sure you're stepping to the side. And your toes can face sideways too. This allows your hip to turn. So not this, bang, 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 bang. And then at last, from here, make sure you pay attention to the rhythm. So it's bang, bang, dun, dun. So after you land, use this to kick. So don't kick and land at the same time, meaning this is gonna be hard. I don't think there's any way you can counter like this, so make sure you step and then kick. Yeah, like that. I mean, I'm not hitting him right now, but make sure when you do in an actual game, maybe someone can have a mitt right here in the stomach and practice kicking. So the next one is a mashigeri with the front leg. So someone punches, and then you kick. One more time. Like this. So 3 points here again. First, when you move back, make sure your toes face the back. So don't just go back like this. Make sure your toes are face back. This allows your hip to turn back, which makes it easier for you to get your leg up. So number 2, as you have this momentum, make sure you raise your knee up. So don't just go up like this. Make sure your knees come up. Chamber with your knees. And then at last, after you kick, and then you make sure you step back. Since you tend to get close to the opponent with this attack, if you just stay here, he can punch. So make sure after you kick, you stay back. So the next counter is stepping back and then doing a kizamizuki, punch with the lead hand. So from here, you step back and then you do your punch. The most important point here is the distance between yourself and the opponent. So if someone punches and you're here, then there's only this much distance to make your kime or the impact, which is very hard. So make sure there's enough space for you to move forward and pull back. So you step back the same distance, so this much. And then you move forward. Second point, in order for you to thrust forward, make sure you bend your back leg. So if this is straight, you can't move forward. So make sure when you step back, this is bent for you to go forward. So the next counter is ducking under and then punching. So 2 points here. Make sure when you duck under, you keep your eye on the opponent. So when he comes, don't look down. Make sure you're looking at him. And then point 2, step back using your leg. So don't just do this. Step back using your leg and make your back leg bent and then go forward. Or if you're advanced, there's one more thing you can do. So after you duck under, sway, don't sway back, sway to the side and punch. If you step back, you're making a distance like this. But if you step to the side, you're making a distance like this. So you're using this depth of the cord. So if I do it one more time, bang, and then you sway to the side and then punch. By doing this, you can turn your hips as well. So try it out if you can. So there are two counters for advanced level. First one is Ura Mawashi with the front leg. So from here, make sure you go in, and then you do the Ura Mawashi. Important point here, first raise your knee up. So from here, step in, and then if you just swipe it up like this with the whole leg straight, it's going to be slow. So make sure you bend your knee up, and then you kick. Second point is for you to move back after the kick. Just like the kick with the front leg mashigiri, you're going to be close to your opponent, so make sure you make the distance after the kick. So from here, and then you move back. So the last counter is sen no sen, which means beforehand of the beforehand. I've made a detailed explanation of this in this video right here, so check that out if you want to see the more in-depth explanation. But if I were to say simply, you sense their weight moving forward and you move. So all the other counters that I've showed you is, let's say someone punches, punch. You sway back and then you attack. So you attack after their attack finishes. But with this counter, you're attacking before the opponent's attack is finished. So I'll show you first. Ah, no! Oh, yes. Since timing is the most important factor in this counter, the idea is someone has this initial movement and you sense it and you attack. So like this. So it's hard. He moves first, but then I sense that and I move as well. The counters that we've been doing before, like the jodan mashigiri, ura mawashi, swipe, and then attack, was this timing. Tan tan, tan tan, tan tan. But then this one is like this. Oh, that was a good one. That was a good one. So maybe you can start practicing like this. So, but have both of your hands up. Hey, like that. And then after you get that done, and then you can do it in an actual game situation. So try that out. So one last extra technique. This is called a uchi mawashi. Uchi means from the inside. Mawashi is around. So usual mashigiri is this way, but the uchi mawashi comes from this way. It's a pretty unique one. First, moving your leg like a mashigiri this way, and then turning your knee this way to change that into a uchi mawashi. So first you do it like a mashigiri, and then you flick it up like this. Maybe you can try out, since this doesn't have a lot of distance, so it's pretty close, right? So you duck under, make him sense a mawashigiri coming, roundhouse kick, and then turn the knee this way and kick him right here. So that was one extra one for you. So if you'd like to see more of the karate related workouts, kumite techniques, or kata techniques, make sure you hit the subscribe button and also turn on the notification bell if you haven't yet. Also check out these two videos, and I see you guys tomorrow.